What's going on, guys? TK coming at you, and another interesting conversation that came out of the Goldbug group, and that is the international price model that's set up by the US dollar. Now, the Goldbug person that argues the point says that no item can survive without using the price model of established, right now in concurrence with anything else. In other words, that nothing can free float without using the pre-established price model as a basis. And it's interesting because someone else in the group brought up the conversation of, hey, what about cocaine? Cocaine uses its own price model outside of central bank authority and outside of US dollar parity. The argument is interesting because think about this. Before the US dollar was the world reserve currency, we had another basis to our price model. And my argument is simply that any asset can adjust to a different parity. So price models will always continue to change with the market. In other words, just because the US dollar is a world reserve currency doesn't mean that its current price model is fixed to the US dollar being in the picture. In other words, if we had something else as a basis to compare price, it would just adjust to that price model. So you price a pair of pants based on the fact that the dollar is the world reserve currency. And any currency that you compare it to, you're still going to use the dollar as a reference point in that comparison or in that price model. But I think that all price models adjust to any base. And of course, the nature of the argument was to lead down the road of Bitcoin not being able to survive in itself if the US price model was to go away. The parity to the dollar's survivability, and also people's ability, or I should say the market's ability to adjust on something else being the base. I think that Bitcoin will survive. I also think that just because we have a comparison to the dollar now doesn't mean that we can't survive if there was another comparison. Now, the answer to this question is time, because we can't predict the future and we just don't know what's going to happen. But what I do think is that Bitcoin will survive. Now, overall, should you use that as an excuse to not participate? And if you do and you're wrong, I guess you'll just slap yourself. Because if you think about it, it doesn't matter what happens in parity. Whether you position yourself for a strong future has to do with whatever is sound money and how much of it you have. So I want you guys to think about that overall. No matter what, you have to make some smart decisions. And I'll leave you guys with that.